Hi everyone, good morning. Here we go. So stop complaining. It will literally eat you up inside. And what I mean by that? Well, instead of complaining that the rose bush is full of thorns, be happy that the thorn bush is full of roses. Different perspective, reframe it, look at it a different way. We're socially conditioned to complain and secretly love it. I love a good moan. We often seek out people that agree with us so we can all have a pity party together and connect with others. And when we are more likely to have nothing in common, but too much complaining can drive people apart. Morning, Karen. For example, we all know somebody that constantly complains, whether it's a sore back, ill health, state of the world, the government, you name it, they've probably complained about it. And every time you see them, you start to avoid them because you feel really drained after being around them. Right? Yeah. Somebody once said to me that if you don't have that experience, it's probably because it's you. Don't get me wrong, as I said before, it's a brilliant icebreaker. Think about it. One of the most common things we complain about in this country is the weather, but it bonds us as a nation day in and day out together. Morning, Louise. It's easier to complain rather than to fix the problem, but we need to challenge ourselves, reframe the thought, and look at it in a different way, a positive way. I complained about lockdown, but I tell you what, I would never be doing video, writing articles, recording vlogs, writing a book, live broadcast, selling houses for more money than I could ever have imagined. And this has given me the time and the perfect opportunity to train consistently. Honing and crafting my skills to improve and get better while up in my game, and as everyone says, every cloud has a silver lining, and effectively that was it. Be mindful about complaining though, as it drains you and depletes your happy drug serotonin. That builds up in you every day after you sleep in your gut and actually helps your brain. Your depletion of serotonin can often lead to depression, so it's the last thing you want to do. So get proper sleep and eat properly. Eat healthily. Don't ever use that word diet. You know what that means. We've had that discussion. Here are some tips to ditch the complaining and change the negative thoughts to positive ones. When you find yourself thinking and saying negative comments about something or someone, stop and force yourself to say something positive instead. Morning, Andrea. If you're going through a tough time, don't be afraid to share your thoughts with a close friend or a family member or even a therapist. It's good to talk. Take up yoga. It's a great way to relax and stop your mind from racing 1,000 different directions. That's me. That's probably why I run and cycle and swim, triathlon. Practice acceptance of others. This is a big, big thing that you've got to do. I had a conversation with someone the other day and I talked about acceptance. You know who you are. Once you begin to do this, you tend to become more positive and complain less about them. If you're out with friends and the complaining starts, change the subject. Speak up to be positive, or quieten down if it's negative. Like the saying goes, if you have nothing good to say, then don't say anything at all. So focus on the positive. And keep a list with you every day of the things that you're grateful for, so you can pull it out and focus on it when you find yourself being negative. Take action. Morning, Craig. Instead of complaining, be the solution. It goes back to acceptance. Change the things you can, accept the things you can't. Morning, Mike. Find something that makes you really happy instead of complaining. If you're constantly complaining about your job, then maybe it's time to change. Doing nothing won't change anything. Stress and a hectic lifestyle can often take over our lives and break down one's positive spirit. Take time out from your life just for you. Go out on your bike, go for a walk, see a film, take a nice hot bath and relax. Listen to some uplifting music. Anything to take your mind off things. This is the biggest one for me. Make an active choice to be happy every day. Complaining can be so toxic in our minds, in our bodies, and it can often lead to ill health. Finally, remember your mind is like a garden. When you plant a thought, regardless if it's negative or positive, and begin to focus on it, it's effectively watering it and it will grow. So plant positive thoughts and focus on those. Your mind can only do one thing at a time. It can't do two things at a time. So if you think negative thoughts, you won't be thinking positive thoughts. So think positive thoughts. A young man decided to enter a monastery. I like this one. It was a particularly strict sect. The head monk told him at indoctrination that they were sworn to total silence. They could not speak one word at all. However, every 10 years, they'd be permitted to speak 2 words. After 10 years of silence, the head monk indicated now was the time for him to speak. His 2 words this time, the monk said, bed hard. And then he resumed his silent study and work for another 10 years. And it passed again. And the head monk again indicated it was time for him to speak his 2 words. The monk said, food bad. And then he resumed his silent study and work. Another 10 years passed, and the head monk again indicated it was time for him to speak his 2 words. The monk said, I quit. The head monk shook his head and said, I knew this was coming. You've done nothing but complain for the last 30 years. If you feel this is helping you, and you think it will help others, we all struggle at some point. So take the time to share the love and help others by sharing this post or tagging someone you know in it. And I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30.